Oh,
It always looks
well,
so
it is
good
so
on it.
funny when you do it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bold, Brave Women's Conversations. I'm so excited to be here again with you and with Darla and company. We did a an episode last week, part one, the story of Darla, how she went from psychotherapist to being a psychotic patient herself. It was such a traumatic experience for everyone, me included, because I was in her life during that time. I have to say I was honored to be in your life at that time because I was. It was such an incredible journey to get to witness and support and love you through it. Ugh. Anyway,
Well, and
and
I was
as we
so
were,
blessed to have you. Thank you.
thank you. And
Forever.
and during our last conversation, I realized that hey, there was more than one bold brave woman in that conversation, in that experience. And so I thought it would be so cool to bring in the family, uh, all those, not all, because we don't have enough windows on the StreamYard, but to bring on other sisters and mothers and daughters and whoever else that was involved or has been. This is not an ending story either. This is a marathon sprint till the end. We are not quitting. There's just no, this is the new normal now. So I invited Alyssa. Alyssa is Darla's daughter to come on. We also have sisters in the wings. We're just trying to work out the technology so that we can get them all on together.
Yeah, Amy's here. She'll be sliding in next to me because her technology wasn't working, so she'll be sitting next to
Perfect.
me. Yep, she's just
Yes.
getting things in order real quick. Yeah, what a great conversation. And it's really an honor for me that you would have my family come in and friends come in and be a part of this conversation, and really giving them the voice that other families and other friends really need to have. It's such a difficult situation to be in, and we need to support each other and we need to talk about this. And we have so much to share, and other people have been sharing with me, and I share their stories. And so, with numbers, there's power, and we will continue to work forward with, destigmatizing mental health and providing support. Yes. And thank you so much for your
Well,
part in that.
yeah, it's like I have to stop talking and let Alyssa jump in. There's like but it's like it's a community. We don't make through things by ourselves. We need community to it, and I think a lot of times bold, brave women out there in the world try to do things by themselves, and there's so much shame of whatever that's happening to them, whether their kid needs extra help, or they're going through depression, or lost a job, or breaking a relationship, whatever, right? Or mental health breakdown, right? We shame ourselves and we go into isolation instead of being in community and tend to each other. So that's one reason why I wanted to come back and do a second part to this conversation, because it's not complete. It was just focusing on the person this is happening to. Everyone else around us has had a role and had their own bold and brave woman journey alongside with you, right? So I'd love to hear what it was like for Alyssa, honey, to be the daughter. How was it to watch your mom through this? I can only imagine. I have chills just thinking about it.
I think part about the entire situation was I'm kind of a control freak. I like to control scenarios in my life. Zero control over the situation. And I live in Texas. It's not like I'm around the corner. If something happens, I can just drive over and I can help and support my family, because the majority of my family does live in Colorado and really there to help each other and support each other throughout this entire thing. If someone needs something from the other, we just get in there. So I it was interesting because in the beginning, my mom really did go through a phase of who she trusted and who she didn't trust it. And you just kind of had to wait and see how you fell into that phase. But you could tell that there was definitely moments of pure clarity behind all of it. For instance, when the whole situation first started happening, the idea
We
that she
lost your
had,
sound for some reason. You were so clear when we were like checking sound and everything, and now it's like, I can't hear. No, you just, okay, try again.
is it any better now?
Yes.
Okay. So, in the beginning, she didn't really say anything about having any delusions about me. And I could tell based on her interactions with me and her trust that she had with me. But you could also see that change throughout each phase that she went through. And
Your grandma.
Are
you talking your grandma, or are you talking about your mom? And you can see the change.
And how she trusted certain people and how she revealed herself to people and who she chose to trust during the process, and how our family was able to kind of help each other through that. Because there was moments where she would trust Amy above most people. There was moments where she would trust me above most people. There was moments where she had trust for Jordan and Terry. There was also moments where she had distrust for each of us. And so we were able to kind of help each other navigate through that pattern, because there was a moment where she was, out on the road by herself, and the only person to talk to at the time was me. And it was really interesting because here I am talking to my entire family, trying to navigate and figure out where in the world, in the country she is, because this was after the point she had decided to bail on Grams. She had that moment where she was like, I'm no longer in this trusting light and field. And so now I've got to hit the road and I got to go to the next place I could trust.
Right. So a mental breakdown, a psychotic episode with the car. So then she drove bat out of hell kind of thing. And then you guys have to like manage that. Manage is such a funny word. It's like there's no managing there.
I feel like it's more detective work than it is everything. Finding out where she's at mentally, where she's at physically in the world. Because there were times where she would say she would be one place and that's where she would be in herself. But physically she was somewhere else.
Shit. Wait, you're saying there were times where mentally she thinks she's here, but physically she's somewhere else.
Yes. For instance,
hello.
The very, very
hello.
Never knew how big it was. She told me she was in Amsterdam. And after doing some detective work and taking screenshots of her while we were video chatting, I discovered she was actually in her room at the bank.
Oh, shit.
But she was just previously in Amsterdam the week before. So, in itself, that's where she was. She was on a party boat. She was in Amsterdam. She was in this different realm, this different state.
So what was that like for you?
Place. Above all, I use the word terrifying. My most important person in the world to me, and having zero control over a situation like that is purely terrifying. Just to be blunt and honest, it is.
Yeah.
You have no
Thank
idea.
You. No, I have no idea, and I don't want to know. I don't want to experience it.
And what the situation is, you don't have any control. You don't know what's going to happen next, and you're literally just sitting there hoping and wishing for the best, and praying that people get the same kindness that you would show.
Yeah. So let's bring the other sisters in. We have Terry. Hi, Terry. And we have Amy sitting next to Darla. Hi, Amy. Who wants to jump in next? Like, what was it like to be you supporting your sister in her mental health breakdown? or what role did you play in the process too?
Do you want to go,
Me?
Cherry, or do you want me to go?
It doesn't matter. I can go.
Go ahead.
I
go.
mean, my role
You go, Cherry.
was
Yeah.
the sister who takes care of people with mentally disabled and physical illness to helping a sister who has it. And that just was
Insane.
terrifying. So
Terrifying.
I was the sister that got to fly to Germany and go get Darla. And I'd never been any further than the Bahamas
On vacation.
on vacation a week prior.
Yeah. Oh.
I have to fly out of the country, and then the quickest flight was into Turkey. And I was just like, oh my God, I got to fly into Turkey? Well, what's going to happen there? I've never been there. So all of it was freaky. I got in the middle of the night into Germany. That was freaky. Don't know German. Don't know how to turn the GPS onto German. That was freaky.
No. You drove? You actually got a car and drove?
I did. I had to. I had to rent a car and drive
no.
2 hours to where Darla was.
Oh my God, you are the bomb. That is
So no.
bold and brave.
So here I am on video chat with my sisters in LA who have pinpointed exactly where I'm at in Germany and what street, and they navigated me out of the airport and got me to where Darla
I feel
was.
like we should cue up the dun 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 dun. Mission Impossible, here we go.
And it was, right? Because I had disappeared.
Oh my God, that's so amazing that you help her navigate
At like 4 a.m. in
4
another country with like street names that are 5 sentences long that I don't know how to pronounce, but she doesn't know how to read. Yeah.
So great. That's like a small insanity in the midst of a big insanity, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's so great.
It was shenanigans after shenanigans after shenanigans.
Yeah. You know, earlier this last year, actually, my brother got into just this horrible thing that happened, and it wasn't his fault at all. And he got he was put in jail for one night. And he called me ahead of time. He said, I think they're going to call the cop on me and I'm just going to surrender. But you have to bail me out the next day. Oh my God. I was just like, that was like the worst ever. And then when I had to, the next day I get to drive and pick him up. And it was just so bad. I don't.
Isn't it surreal? Isn't
What?
it really surreal? It's surreal.
It's so surreal. And
You're in
all
the
I could
jail
do was
parking lot.
swear.
Yeah.
You know, it just was like beyond what this body can handle in stress.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel myself wanting to jump out of my body, and I'm like, maintain, calm down. You don't want to give yourself a heart attack over this stress. It's okay. And it was just a mild thing, right? It was just like a misunderstanding, and he ended up in jail, and I pick him up the next day. And just, it was just horrifying. And then I hear his story of just that one night. Now, Darla just surpassed all of us with the stories that she lived through. I don't know how you guys could witness and be her sisters and her daughter in this mess. It's just insane. Ugh.
Well, what else
We are
do you
one.
do?
Oh, we're one. Oh, but you didn't know you won until this shit happened. Then you're really
Bro.
one. Yeah. How about you, Amy?
So-
What was it like for you? What was your
You know, it was really intense because there was a little bit of a time where I wasn't sure what was happening. Like, I really, some of the things she was saying and doing, I was like, this feels like an awakening. Her brain just was expanding, and it felt some of the stuff she was saying was true. And I was having to learn a whole new category of knowledge that I didn't know before, while in a state of emergency, while trying to make plans. I mean, I was on the phone at the beginning around the clock trying to get in contact with someone who could help track her down in another country. I was talking to I mean, positions of people in the military that I didn't even know existed, colonels and sergeants and you name it, top people who were putting in work to find her, and then having to kind of start to process and understand what was going on for her without any kind of diagnosis, without a professional there to guide. It was intense. It was really intense.
Who has a little kid in the background?
Dixie is having a conversation.
All right,
I'm gonna let her out
because she's being very persistent about being out. Like,
No.
she's put her face against the window and she's like licking it. So
Poor baby.
She wants to talk. She's got a lot to say too.
Well, I could totally relate with you, Amy, about the struggle between holding her. Like, I got to talk to her across the world also, and I can tell she was having an expansion. It's like she's reaching a different part of her brain and a different knowledge from the universe that we haven't gotten there yet. So part of me realized that and can hold and honor that, right? And I didn't lump her in the crazy bin. I just could feel that she was accessing something, and she's trying to translate it into earth language with us, and trying to like go with it. And at the same time, I'm detecting that she's physically is in danger or is needing help. She's not well. She shouldn't be by herself. So it was really, it was weird. I don't know what the right word is, to hold both part of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
We feel you because that's how Amy.
Terry, I
I
think
can't
you're muted.
speak for.
I can see you.
That's how we
something.
felt.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, there we go. I could hear her.
Say it again. Okay.
What was that? Oh, I was just saying that we all felt that on both, even us as her sisters felt both sides of each thing. Darla, what is going on? We really need to communicate with you. And she's like, they broke my brain. And I'm like, they hit me in the head with the hammer. And I'm like, who? What? Wait. And then I'd have to stop and call Amy and go, okay, we got to figure this out. Something's not right.
It was hard to decipher because a lot of what she was saying was true and was happening and had been happening previous to the original psychotic break. And so some of the things she was saying were very, very true. And so it was really hard to find what was going on within the language at first. Once it progressed, it became pretty abundantly clear that her brain was just not processing, keeping up with the processing that was happening, it felt like. So at the beginning, it was really hard to kind of understand what was happening. And then once we really did, and then I think I think it kind of progressed for her, got more intense. And then we really were like, okay, we see what's going on here. Yeah.
So I'm realizing that that the dynamic is happening right now, which is it's so easy to focus our energy on the patient or the person needing help, right? And then us or you, both brave women, are so used to focusing on helping Darla and studying Darla. What I want to focus us on this conversation is, what about you? What was your personal bold and brave journey that you went through? What did you have to reach inside you in order to show up for this? Because you could totally bail on this or on each other and on her. It could be so much that you could just throw a shit fit and blame everything and then make your way out, right? How did you work with yourself?
Well, like I was saying, it was very intense. It was intense and it was confusing. And so we had to kind of figure it out as we went. And there were times that each of us did have to bail. There were times where each of us had to step away and take space and take care of ourselves for a moment, because that's how intense it was. So,
the other one took over. I mean,
we had to really tag each other in and say, I'm done. I'm tapped out. I can't be this. I can't be involved. And we all took turns doing that, because it was such a heavy load to carry that there was no way that any one of us could have kept it up for that time, the whole time.
That many years. Like, if we were to actually put it all together and we didn't take time for ourselves to try to heal a little bit as we went, we would have probably broke our own brains.
Yeah. There were times where I felt like I was teetering on insanity as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's so amazing. You were teeter-tottering on your own insanity as well, trying to be there for her and for each other. Yeah.
For me,
it is,
because of the fact, like I said, this is what I do this for a living.
And sometimes too.
And they live in my home, and I help them every single day. And so I would call Darla's friend and just be like, I don't know what to do. This is what I do for a living. How am I going to continue working with these people if I can't even help my own sister? Like, I was there sometimes. And
so the burden of taking care of your sister, the burden of healing her or making it better for her, you took that on.
It was, yes, and it was never a burden. It was struggling.
Well, it
was very struggling,
right?
But it was never a burden. I would never leave her on the street for her to end up where some of these guys with mental illnesses are. I would never want to do that. And she put herself there a few times, but we got her back.
She did.
Thank God.
Yeah. And I think when you're going through it too, like you're balancing this, what's the right thing to do? What do I do? And also how would I want to be treated, and how would I want to be cared for if I were in this position? Because when you have someone who's like a psychotherapist who's having a psychotic break, the light bulb really goes on. Whoa, this could happen to anyone. This could happen to you, to me, to your friend, to your child, to anyone. And so you really have to put yourself in the position of like, how would I want to be cared for? What would I want people to do for me? How far would I want them, to step in? And it was hard because we were dealing with like a pre-diagnosis situation, a pre-treatment situation. So, it was a massive struggle to.
Isn't it so amazing, like how we all think that we're so sane and we have our lives and we're doing it right, and really the line between sanity and insanity is like thinner than the gap in my hands right there. It just kinda,
Yeah.
just
Amen.
just
Here's
like
your
that.
ass. We're going to hand it to you. Excuse my language, but that's.
It sure has a good attitude.
Well,
And if you're lucky, you have family that would fight for you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. my mom was so extremely intelligent that there was times where it tested your own, I don't want to say intelligence, but your own will per se. I'm very stubborn in certain aspects. There's a lot of things that I had to reteach myself, reteach patience, reteach letting go of all these delusions of control, reteaching myself to no, seriously.
Yeah.
Is like a next level of how to just let it be, but also be in a proactive state of what else can I do? It's a very weird position to be in, but it's also a huge growth position. And she's so damn intelligent. She was throwing curveballs left and right.
Yeah. No, for sure. Right, Alyssa? Like we were being psychotherapied by a psychotic person.
Oh yeah. Oh my
Yes.
God, that's horrible.
Like
Big.
Yeah. So like she was pulling skeletons out of our closets. She knew all of our weaknesses. She knew anything, things that would get us to back off and leave her alone. It was
she would say, make us leave her alone at certain times.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. She knew
She
how
was
to
really good at figuring that out.
Tricky you.
Who knew? Which made it complicated for the professionals too.
Oh,
it's interesting because I did experience a tiny bit of that. I could kind of feel like, wait a minute, she talks to me differently because I served as her coach before she had her mental breakdown. So we had a relationship established, right? And I could tell when she comes on, it was just something different. I can tell she was only saying things that would fit in our relationship. She was like sheltering the other stuff. She was saving it, a lot of it for you, Amy, and Terry.
Oh, I'm sure. I was on to her.
It's my birthday.
And the craziest part is that she knew when somebody was catching on to her, but it only start a new delusion when she would figure it out.
Wow.
So it would turn into like, oh, this person might have ill will because they're figuring thing. And so she would go through phases of distrust for Amy, distrust for me, distrust for Terry, distrust for Jordan, distrust for Grandma. And it would go through like circular pattern because it never really stuck to one person. It would kind of transfer and move as her feelings would evolve.
Here's what's funny though, is she never had distrust for Jordan. Jordan was never the outsider, ever.
Yeah.
So I'm noticing that it's happening again. We're now talking about Darla, the center person, instead of it's about you. This is about you guys. And what was it like for you, or what is it like for you now? So how did you, what were some buttons that was pushed for you that you needed some help, or how did you ask for help from each other?
I don't even know that it was an asking type of a thing. I think it was just when we got to a certain phase, the others kind of picked up on it. I mean, there was several times where I would be sitting in my room on the floor crying because I had just gotten off the phone with my mom and I was just in such a state of disarray. And out of nowhere, my phone would be ringing and it would either be Amy or Terry. It was like we were in this thing so much together that we were picking up each other's vibrations even from far away. We could feel the energy and how much was being put out there that we just knew to check in on each other, and honestly,
so that brings it back to that oneness that Amy was talking about. I mean, you see the slogan, you hear it, you read it in personal growth books and all this stuff, but it felt like you guys were living the oneness.
Well,
Yeah.
feel like, and especially, and I know I can speak for me and my brother on this part, we didn't want to make any permanent decision out of our feelings in that moment. So whatever feeling that we need to reach out to our aunts, who are the closest thing to us, to help support. There was a period of time my mom was living with my brother, and I just remember getting a call from him saying, I don't know what to do, I'm freaking out, I feel like I should call the cops, but I don't know if this is the right move. I don't know what the right answer is. My Aunt Terry, he was supporting him through all this. And it's true. You know, you're sitting there and you're just like, this is the person I care about most in this world. And that is true for me. So how do you go about making sure you're A, care of that person that means most in the world to you? B, making sure that they're getting the care that you need, and C, also making sure you're not damaging your own ability to help them in the process, because that is a very easy line, and you can feel it happening. You're like, I'm about ready to next day roller coaster, latch onto each other like, hey, I need.
And you said something that's really important that I wanted to highlight is like, there was nothing normal. There's nothing that you all have lived through before with each other. There's just like everything was new. Everything was moving really fast. You had to make big decision that has horrible ramifications if you know, whichever way you go. And it's just insane. So it's like we're sitting here talking so calmly in our little, you know, space and everything, but I have to remind myself that nothing was normal during that time for you.
Yeah, it was really intense, and it wasn't normal. And like I said, you know, we were figuring it out as we went, under intense pressure, under stress for our family member who we cared about. And, you know, I'll touch on some things that I think are a little bit more the side of parts that families go through that I don't think a lot of people talk about, because when you're dealing with someone who their illness is causing them to not trust you, not trust the medical professionals, resist any type of medication treatment, like you get to a place that Alyssa touched on for a moment where you have to surrender. You're not in control. You can hope, wish, pray, think, anything you want, but it's not on. There's nothing you can do. Where, you know, the mental health in this country isn't supportive, in my opinion, of people who are having emergency crisis. She was in and out. We would get her to a hospital. We'd convince her to get there. And then as soon as she got in the door, she'd convince him to leave. And so you get to this place where you just have to surrender over and over and over and over and over. And the deeper part of that, which was super duper painful, was actually like, this is so far out of my control. And she's in such a dangerous situation that she could die. And that happened over and over and over. So we were mourning the loss of someone who was living, repeatedly, you know, and you know, we were in my house trying to psychologically deal with that. We were having almost living funerals to allow that grieving process to happen, and allow the so that it didn't get stuck, and so that we could, because in that moment, to us, she was gone. She was lost.
Right. So it's like you have to deal with what's coming down at you, but you also have grieving of like, oh my gosh, that person that I know and love and I'm so familiar with, is she gone? Is she dead and gone for good? Do I let go? And all that stuff too. That's insane.
Yes.
Are we ever going to get her back?
Yeah.
Right.
She was our stability.
Yeah.
No. Yes,
it's the truth. She was.
She Yeah, I dubbed when she was having this split personality, I dubbed the three parts of Darla, the yellow Darla, the orange Darla, and then the red Darla. So the yellow Darla is the Darla that I knew, that I met. She was so lovely, so gentle, so accepting, and we can have long conversation and there's no conflict, right? And then there's the orange Darla that say
Yep,
things that has
Darla.
my head kind of whips a little bit, but it's still okay. And then there's Red Dollar. I don't think I ever met Red Dollar. Thank God. You guys have, but I have not met Red Dollar, and she burns it down.
There was a part of that too that what for me was super spiritual too, because she could dig into those core places of each person, and even though it was extremely triggering, it was also shit that we needed to deal with. And truth, like she you know, it was hard. I'm not trying to diminish how extreme and hard it was. I mean, I was not eating, not sleeping. My kid was living in someone else's house. I wasn't working. It was bad. So I'm not trying to like, ooh, this is, but underneath that, there was this tone of like, she's right. Like this, she might be psychotic right now, but that actually is still pretty true what she just said, or you know, so there were some things that weren't, and there were some things that was like, that's a hallucination or a delusion, but she knew because of her psychotherapy background and how she knew us all as a family, she was digging into those deep holes. So you're lucky, right? You're lucky that you dodged that bullet.
I called Amy and Terry and I'm like, I can't believe she just said this. Like, is this true? Is this how I am? Like, because I'm one of those people that my mom has never been the type to be like, well, you're this or you're that. She'll let you discover who you are for yourself, and she'll decide if she wants you in her life.
Yeah.
But in this state, she was willing to call you out on bullshit or whatever you felt bullshit was at that time. And what? That's some reflection.
True.
Like,
It was
every single time.
It was a deflection on her part to get the attention away from her and what her problems were at the moment. But it also, part of it was like, oh, okay, like, okay, fine. I'll deal with that.
So I want to get this in before we run out of time, which is, I want to know, what are you most appreciative of yourself in this process? Like thinking about it, and it's like, what was the thing that you brought to the table, or you brought to Darla, or to each other, that you were most proud of about yourself?
I would say the love.
Tell us more about how your love, what's about your love that you're most
my
proud of?
love is I've given her a home through this whole time. Whether and she would go where she wanted to, but she always had this place to be. And I wanted to make sure that she always knew she had that place, even if at times she didn't think it was accurate.
She poo-pooed it.
That's all right. Whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
so your love and your generosity of like, there's the caregiving, the generosity, and the safety. It's like, here's a grounded place for you that you can come and stay as long as you need to, so that we can shelter you.
Yeah, whatever we need to do.
Yeah.
And that was trying.
How about you, Alyssa? Yeah. It wasn't easy.
You know, Mai, that's a really hard one for me.
It's hard for most bold, brave women. That's why I ask, because we're so used to
was
acknowledging other people and
hard.
appreciating them, but in ourselves, it's harder for us to talk about.
Well, and I think that because I was so far away, I have a hard time saying how I could have, like, how I was more helpful, or how I wanted to be more helpful, but sometimes I wasn't. So I feel like,
Yeah.
honestly, anything that I can really say that I feel like I did well was help support my aunts and my brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
I
But
could
it's so often we go into judging ourselves. I wasn't close enough. I couldn't do more. So we see the less than instead of really seeing the important role that you play for them.
So I think that's probably the only thing that I don't think I could have changed any different.
Nice. How about you, Amy? What is the thing that you're most proud of in how you showed up for this?
I was thinking probably, the perseverance and not giving up and just knowing when to tap out at certain times, but also like sticking it in with her because, I know even though in her mind at the moment she was speaking, I want this, I'm fine, everything's good. I knew. And so just hanging through, sticking through it with her, not giving up on her, because if all of us would have given up on her, her outcome would have been a lot different. Yeah.
Totally. We might not even find her.
No.
Right.
I might not be alive. Yeah.
Don't give up.
Yeah.
There's always somebody out there that can help you.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
And there are lots of people out there who care.
Yeah.
There is.
And I
So
know
don't
that
ever-
in this case, in Darla's case, you guys have the family. And I don't want people who are listening to this to think that, but they have a family that stick for them. Families are funny. There's the kind of family that you're born in, and there are also families that exist in the world. People just will come and help you when you need it. I have been helped so many times throughout my life. As a boat person, escape out of Vietnam on a tiny little boat. Like, I had families in Japan came out and helped me. I didn't know any of them, right? And then when I entered here, I had family from the US that from East Coast all the way to the West Coast to help me. So families are exist way out there. Please
Totally.
ask for help.
Yeah. And our family, we have strong bonds, but we also have our own stuff too, to be completely honest and blunt. At the time of this situation happening, Terry and I were not in the best relationship. We were just starting to mend a relationship that had been kind of broken. And this situation, helped bring that together a lot quicker, because we had to get together and work together and rely on each other and
help each other.
Yeah. So, even if your family situation doesn't look perfect, because no one's does, it's people, you'll be surprised the people that will rally for you when you are in need,
regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless. Somebody's going to be there for you.
All right. Well, we have to bring this to an end. The Love Fest has to come to a close, which is such a bummer. It is such I am so honored to be with you all. I've been, I have little touch points here and there with different you, but I've never really got to talk with you, Alyssa. So nice to meet you, and I'm so proud of you and in how you show up for your mom. I know how you had such a big impact on your mom all along, actually, because she had shared some of her love and appreciation with me. So it's so great to see you.
Well, it's good to know that
and thank you, Terry. Say that again.
I said it's good to know that I could help support her in a way that she's always supported me.
Yeah. And I think I like to translate that out there for our listener is like, if you're judging yourself for like not doing enough or wasn't close enough or, oh, I just learned this, it's like, no, your presence makes such a difference, right? And your breath makes such a difference to those around you. So please know that and enjoy yourself on this planet Earth and know how valuable you are. Anyway, so thank you everyone for being here and for sharing your personal stories with us. It's such a bold and brave journey, and it doesn't end. Once in a while, she'll throw a new curveball at all of us, and we're. I feel like, do you feel more like, okay, I can handle this now, or are you there yet, or are you still kind of in a precarious manner?
I'm feeling better. I'm feeling this is a better year for me already. Yep. Still baby
Good.
steps. Still have to
Excellent.
do
Yeah.
balance. Yeah, I feel better this year.
Yeah. And May, before we go to, I just want to say, like, you were such a stable part in this journey with us too. And you were along with us. Like, you didn't know what was going on, and you stayed open-minded and curious, but also supportive and held a lot of space for our family. And like, you were a really big role in helping us gather and commune and be able to communicate together and hold space for us. And you were there for our family, throughout different parts of this journey and holding Darla this whole entire time.
Yes.
So you played
Thank
a massive role.
for saying that. I'm laughing because I feel a bit like Alyssa. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I was so far away. I didn't, and I can hear that tape, right? So I fully receive that. Thank you so much for honoring
But you
me.
did. You held such a huge container.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you.
For all of us.
I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did, but all I know is that it makes me so happy when I drive past your town, and and I just simply say, "Hey, I'm driving by," and you all come out to Love Struck Stop to say hi to me. I'm like, why am I? Wow, that's so amazing. So I feel the love, and I thank you for including me into your family. Yeah, and we still have to go check out Mesa Verde camping ground and check out that whole place.
We do, yes.
And we do, absolutely. All right, everyone, thank you. Let me do this for a second. If you're watching this, wrong one. I had it set up for a different podcast, but if you are watching this or listening to this and you would like to be part of our community of bold and brave women doing ordinary things or extraordinary things like this, join out my Facebook group. It's free, and we just gather to support each other in our everyday living. I find that getting up in the morning is a bold and brave act, and putting myself together and doing anything is bold and brave. So we can never have enough support and love and community with each other. So join now my international community. And also, if you are experiencing mental health issues, or you know of someone, or you're part of a family that is taking care of, join Darla's group. What's your group called again?
Yeah, it's called From Chaos to Clarity. From chaos to clarity. Yeah.
And she's also on
community.
Facebook.
You can join my community. It's a very open place that you can ask questions, you can post things, and we post a lot of content in there as well. We're starting to. So yeah, come on and join and continue to have these conversations.
That's right. Darla is getting back in the world of loving and supporting people. It's welcome back, honey. It's wonderful to have you back. All right. Lots of love to everyone. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Terry. And thank you, Alyssa and Darla, for being here with me today. And Barbara, too. Mama Barbara has been watching all along, and she gave us a comment. Thank you, May. How sweet of you. Thank you. Bye.